Hi everyone, my name is Jennifer Hoffman. I am a senior at Westchester University and I am taking Professor Foster's EXS 486 class. So today I'm going to be talking to you about traumatic brain injuries, also referred to as TBIs. So in this presentation I'm going to be talking about what exactly is a TBI, what are the symptoms of someone who has TBI, as well as, what can cause this, and maybe what specific age and genders are more susceptible to this, as well as I'm going to present a case study of someone who has TBI and what I would do to prescribe them as an exercise prescription, as well as indicate why it is so important for someone who has TBI to be exercising. So what exactly is a TBI? TBI is a fairly broad description because it really can differ for every single person. Usually what happens is we define it as an acute event where one moment, that person is living a completely normal life, nothing is indicating that they have some sort of injury, and the next minute, their life is forever changed. Usually it's going to depend on the person and what caused that injury, the force of the injury, as well as the duration of how long it takes for someone to seek medical help. So we usually say it's a result of an external mechanical force, whether it be a direct impact or a rapid acceleration of the head. It can cause some sort of temporary or permanent brain damage and dysfunction. And what is so scary about this injury is that our brain is the most powerful organ in our body, and it helps define who we are as that person, and a consequence of this injury can alter all aspects of that person's life. So this picture here demonstrates what exactly results when there's some sort of external mechanical force. They define it as a blow or a counter blow, but what happens is the brain is getting pushed against the skull by some sort of force that is not normally what happens, and the brain organ itself is getting damaged. So we define a TBI as either a primary or secondary injury response, and it really just depends on how long it takes this person to realize they have a TBI and when they seek help. So a primary, is right in the moment, we say up to about a couple hours, and you can see just hemorrhage and maybe seizure, something in the moment. Brain is reacting to it, but nothing too serious. But once we reach secondary injury response, which is when a couple days, weeks, months, this is when the brain starts to completely shut down, and it takes a longer duration for people to actually have a full recovery. So it really depends on when people catch this, and it again depends on the symptoms, which we're going to go over next, but it also depends on the severity. So some people have a very mild TBI, which could be concussion, whereas once you start reaching the more moderate and severe, it shuts down all organs of the body, starts with the brain and progresses, and people lose all sorts of senses, and it can really affect the person for the rest of their life. So you might be asking, what are the symptoms of a TBI? And it's going to depend on that person. Some people who have a TBI only show one symptom, whereas someone else could show every single thing on this list and more. This is what makes it so hard to define and seek medical help if you have a TBI, because a lot of these symptoms you might be looking at, you might be thinking that it's non-problematic, it's just a cold, it's something, headache, it's stress, but it's actually severe, very severe. So anything from seizures, headaches, reduced muscle strength impairments in both balance or coordination, loss of consciousness and memory, you can't remember what happened not too long ago, lethargic, constantly thirsty, blurred vision, slurred speech, or if you're losing your basic five senses of taste, touch, sight, sound, and smell, these might not be super alarming, but if you have any of these and you just had some sort of fall or traumatic event, you need to seek medical help right away. So what are the causes of a TBI, and what is the epidemiology of a TBI? Who is more prone to or more at the risk of getting some sort of TBI, you might ask? And the truth is, there is no, genetic component, genetic risk. If your family had it, you're going to get a TBI. It is one of those injuries where, honestly, it is a freak accident. There is no way of knowing it. You could wake up that morning feeling great, and a couple hours later, you have a traumatic brain injury. And this is what is so hard about this injury, is that no one knows. Three most common types we see are falls, some sort of vehicle or car accident, and firearms. But again, it can happen, just about anywhere. It's life. We see that there's a lot of research that males are twice as likely as females to be prone to having a TBI. And although there isn't a ton of information out there, we believe males might be less likely to seek medical help if they hurt, just some, that male testosterone thinking they can handle it, as well as they might be more reckless and not necessarily know that they did that. The two highest or most prime age groups that we believe are most high risk to a TBI, we see children under the age of 1 as well as older adults, so age 65 and older. And we see this because of falls. It's the beginning and end of life. People are more not fully engaged with their nervous system and their motor coordination and all that, and we see that they're most prone to this. As well as we see, people in more lower socioeconomic status, unemployment, substance abuse, some sort of extra factor that might be also showing that there is a more likely chance of a TBI, but again, there is not knowing days, weeks, months in advance that you're going to get one. It's just how these work. So here are two graphs showing just the epidemiology of TBIs and how each age group as well as gender is affected. So this one on the left, kind of just showing each age group starting from 0 to 4, going all the way to 65 plus, just showing what is the main contributing factors. And what's kind of cool is seeing how the 0 to 4 and the 65 plus almost mirror image one another, showing that falls is the most prevalent way someone gets a TBI, whereas you factor in more of the adolescents and younger and adults, there is more of a shift in what can cause a fall or a TBI. And the graph on the right is just showing males, which are darker color, and females, and just showing within each age group, males are highly more prone to a TBI than females, especially in the older population. Again, as I said earlier, we think just they won't seek medical help, as well as more reckless. So here is a case study of a 65-year-old female. She is a non-smoker, has no family history, and she has a resting blood pressure of 118/78, which is good. Resting heart rate, which is 66, again, a very good healthy indicator. BMI is 25, which is technically overweight, but again, based off all her other statistics, this isn't something I'm necessarily worried about. BMI is something we're starting to stray away from in the health society. Total cholesterol is 180, again, below what it should be. Blood glucose is 100, again, no warning. And she states she's now on medication, but she has a walker due to she did have traumatic brain injury not too long ago. And the one factor is she lives a sedentary lifestyle. She's 65 years old. She's in fear of another fall again, and she kind of has no motivation anymore. She kind of says, what's the point if I'm already prone to this? So my exercise prescription for her is to pretty much engage almost every aspect of exercise. Aerobic exercise definitely is something she needs to incorporate. I suggest 20 to 30 minutes, easy to slightly exercising, about 3 to 4 times a week, but honestly as much as she can. Definitely low impact activities, pedaling a stationary bike, swimming, stuff soft on her joints. She is 65 years old, she has a cane, but that shouldn't prompt her to not be exercising. We want to mock activities of ADLs, activities of daily living, gain her independence back, maybe not depending solely on that cane anymore, as well as low weight bearing activities. Strength training, again, low repetitions, but low weight, high repetition, sorry about that, about 3 to 5 days a week, kind of strengthen her core in order for her to gain stability and for her not to be prone to another fall again. Balance is another huge importance. Doing yoga exercises, using the seated exercises with the Bosu ball, again, strengthening her core so she isn't always feeling like she's going to fall over, as well as flexibility. Again, that should be incorporated about every workout. So a lot of people ask that have, TBI, why should I be exercising? What's the point? And the truth is, those with traumatic brain injury, research states those people are less likely to work out and are less fit than an average individual. So if anything, you need to more than an average healthy fit person. And exercise, can decrease that feeling of fatigue in performing, your routine daily activities. It can improve your mood, positively influence cognition and your cardiorespiratory fitness, help with weight and stress management, improve your perception of physical abilities, as well as lead to that more independent lifestyle which we're trying to get. So if you want any more information on TBIs, there's several websites located: Brain Injury Association of America, American Speech Language and Hearing Association, as well as the CDC, Center for Disease Control and Prevention, as well as there is a brain injury expert you can call for free. They also will give you information if any questions or concerns you think you might have it. And here are my 4 references in APA format discussing everything I just talked to you about for the last 12 minutes. So thank you, and I hope you learned something, and have a great rest of your day.